Okay, hey, it's me, Maria. It's like 2:44 in the morning. I've been up for about half an hour, but I did fall asleep around 7-ish, 7:30 or somewhere around there. So I guess I've been getting a decent amount of sleep. I got to sleep a little bit early tonight, so I'll probably fall asleep a little bit later as well. But I wanted to come on and make a video today. I spent a lot of time by myself, and just it helped a lot, just because it's been so extremely overwhelming having to deal with, you know, being here in town and then having to deal with the remnants of people that I'd rather kind of purge from my life. And I'm making the right decision. I know for some people who are on the outside looking into my life, and they're thinking, well, that's kind of a bold step. Don't you need anybody? I mean, don't you need somebody's help? Okay, first of all, the people who got involved in this literally attacked me. And the way I look at it is because, I'm sitting here at work doing my work, trying to take care of myself, and they're invading my workspace, and they're manipulating my life and destroying it. So I don't feel bad about cutting these people off, regardless of the fact that they're blood relations. Sometimes you have to set boundaries. And I'm not the kind of person who wants to speak against tradition. I think tradition has its place, okay? But in my situation, sometimes you have to look at individual situations and say, okay, well, this person's different, and you have to make an exception. In my case, I'm an exception, okay? I'm very careful about who comes into my life, because, like I said, people tend to be abusive with me because, I have become who I am after a long period of time, and it's almost impossible to try to change somebody at my age. And so right now, I'm doing everything I can. Now, some people will say, well, how come you're not really proactively looking? I have a lot of fear right now. I'm dealing with a lot. I mean, like I said in the beginning of this job search, before, I had to take all my work to the shredders because nobody was telling me what was going on. If there was a situation place, they were blocking my employment. And I know that, the families merged. When I say the families, I'm talking about my former blood relations, the Gordon family, as well as, Piggy's family had merged, and I believe Esther Gooding took it upon herself, which I don't even know this woman, to use her political clout and religious terror to keep me out of the workforce. I would like to reiterate, I don't really know this woman very well. But anyway, so that alone, and having to encounter people that have been abusive to me, is enough to keep me out of the workforce. I mean, it was enough to keep me in a state of anxiety and not having to encounter that anymore. So when I look at job ads, I'm trying to be as careful as I can. I'm just kind of looking at them. I'd rather contact the employer first, and then once I let them know that I'm sending it over, then that's what I'm going to do, because I have to be cautious. I will not waste time on a job search again. So I decided, sorry, in my situation, I have to start off differently, because, like I said, I have been experienced so much, and that's a lot on a person, and I can't expect people to understand unless they've gone through what I've gone through. I will not do a wasteful job search again. I don't have people that I can count on. Like I said, these people destroyed my job, okay? They literally came into my workplace, destroyed it, demolished everything, took everything, then put a system in place to make it difficult for me to have a job. And so when I asked for donations, these same people who did what they did have made absolutely no effort to try to rectify the situation. so these people, their intent was to basically have me dead. Okay, so that's pretty much what they had. That was the goal. Okay, because obviously, there's no disputing or denying the fact that these people were in the wrong to begin with. So I have to do everything on my own. And, I hope this opens people's minds up to, the weird psychosis that actually exists in families. Because, here I am. I was a single parent. And I'm not saying I was a perfect person. But, I always try to take care of my responsibility. And then you got these weird siblings of mine coming into my workplace with their psychotic behavior. And then, my Piggy's family, they are extremely distorted in their very religious views. They don't know me, and they feel as though you got to be careful with people. You just do, okay? And so, especially, there should be, in my opinion, there should be a separation between work and family. That has always been my philosophy. I have never wanted to merge the two on purpose. Little did I know that these people were, my sister was affiliating herself with people that I work with. In my personal opinion, that's not something that I would do. Now, if I was from a normal family, I would have no problem, coming in and introducing my family. But it would be at that. I mean, there would be no decisions ever made behind my back. That is a very terrifying and horrifying thing to happen because, it's like you're not informed. Now look at this situation, okay? Because what has happened is basically something very serious. So, I'm just obsessed with getting out of here. And so I decided, I do believe that I should be considered for management jobs. I do. I really do. Just because of my 20 years of experience in accounting and my 10 years of management experience, I should be doing that. And that's really more in alignment with my personality. However, like I mentioned before, I should either be a department of a manager, an office manager, or just a full charge bookkeeper. And personally, I believe that I should be in a management position just because of all the knowledge and wealth of information that I have, and my personality and everything else. And so, for them to take me off track, which I believe that was Esther Gooding's belief, because she felt as though, because I didn't believe in a distorted view of Christianity, meaning that she believes that only Christians should have a place in management. Because, for what reason, I think this is how distorted she is because she should not ever question my moral standards because mine is superior to hers, okay? And also, that's what irritates me so much about this so-called Christian network system, which should be illegal. I personally think that Christian networks they're based on discrimination, so therefore there should be null and void. But anyway, so that's my concern, and I have every right to. So that's how I have to handle it. I can't sit here and send resumes to every single ad that I see because I don't want to waste time. Okay, because I'm going to tell you that is very traumatizing. And knowing that your family is doing this to you I can't tell you the morbid feeling that I get from everybody involved. So that's why I'm feeling like I need to shut down and not associate with anybody at all until I, get out of here and get myself together and calm down, and then I can slowly but surely start, building relationships again. I am severely traumatized by this entire issue. And I don't want to, it's better for me to heal this way. It's very difficult for other people to understand, but it makes sense to me, and I did feel better today. I mean, I did. I mean, I'm waking up now, but at least I got some sleep, okay? I got about 5 or 6 hours of sleep, which is pretty good. I'm feeling more relaxed, not having to interact so much with Piggy. I feel bad, but I can't do this anymore. To me, it's like I don't appreciate people keeping that information from me. So I feel betrayed by my family, my blood relations, and I also feel betrayed by, of course, Piggy by not saying anything. But he should have said something. He should have. Because this is exactly the kind of abuse that I was talking about, how men in law enforcement, what they do to their wives, and oftentimes their wives end up homeless, or they're constantly struggling. Maybe a woman might have a good career in, maybe she could have been, some sort of like a lawyer or something, and the next thing you know, she ends up having to be like a legal assistant or something. Like it's not, or maybe something even worse than that, because and I'm not saying that I ever had any what do you call it, prestige or anything like that. I mean, I think my jobs were very simple, and that's what really irritates me about my family, because my goals were reasonable. They were reasonable. They were logical, and they were attainable. And I had already attained that. So why did I get pushed back? That makes absolutely no sense. No sense whatsoever. And so they were thinking the reason why I wasn't working my jobs is because they were the ones who were sabotaging me. They were the ones who were creating the social issues, because I never had anybody complaining about my accounting. I never had anybody do that. Like, I've never screwed up anybody's books. I've never screwed up anything. So the thing is that I was being harassed by their stupidity, and it had created a lot of problems. And of course, they're never going to take responsibility for it. So and then, of course, the reason why I'm being demoted is because I'm not a Christian, which irritates me, Christian in their sense, okay? So the issue is that Esther Gooding is a corrupt person, and she feels as though, it's a title to her, you know what I mean? And it's not about moral standards. It's not about knowing, good and right. It's not even about knowing Bible principles, because if it was based on that, then she herself would not, she wouldn't be doing that, okay? And so what irritates me about it is, like, she steps in, and I believe she's another one, along with my sister Tanya, who believes that you need a 4-year degree to do this job, which is not true, okay? And second of all, I believe Esther Gooding is a graduate from a Bible college, and, if this is her form of practicing her religion, she's another example of somebody who went to college and knows absolutely nothing. So this whole thing really irritates me, like I can't even tell you, but I don't have anything to do with these people. And, ideally people want to have families, but I mean, I realize that family is not for me. It's not something that has worked out for me, and I'm okay with that. Maybe my blood relations, they could very well feel remorse for what they've done. I doubt it. If they have pursued me so intensely, it was in their heart to destroy me, okay? But whether they're repentant or not doesn't matter. It's better for me to get on with my life. And, not everybody's going to understand the situation, but I understand it, okay? And that's all that really matters. I'm doing what's making me feel better, and I need to heal, because this has been absolutely traumatizing on a daily basis. And then the more it unfolds, the more disgusted I get. So it's better for me to continue doing what I'm doing. And a lot of people can't understand autonomy. They're like, well, I can't believe you don't need anybody. I've never ever once had called anybody, like, until, okay, I did call people when I started getting blacklisted, okay, because I kept thinking, this is a very serious issue. Like, when you go into an agency and they're basically rejecting you because they're part of a Christian network, or they're discriminating against you based on something that they shouldn't be, especially companies like that are supposed to be equal opportunity employers, that somebody is out to get you. That. So you start calling people. In this case, I called my son's father. I had met up with somebody on LinkedIn that I hadn't talked to in a while. I asked them for a job. I even called one of my old bosses. I didn't call him. I think I sent him an email. Somebody that I used to know from a TV station. I don't know why I decided to call or contact this person. I think their name popped up on something. I think I saw one of their YouTube videos inadvertently. It was weird, so I kept thinking, okay, I'll contact this person. Okay, well, anyway, the point is that, I've never in the past, like, relied on that. I've always believed in taking care of myself. I've never asked anybody for anything, okay? So all the jobs I ever received before in the past were something that I've gotten myself. So now I'm irritated because these people took it upon themselves to come in and literally tear my life apart, and then involve not just themselves, but they included other people who had no right to be involved. Like, you know, no right, whether that be my whether blood relations or somebody that, or Piggy or his family. Like, they have no right to any of my information at all. I mean, those things are supposed to be locked away. Just like, you know, if a woman fills out a job application, or she gets a promotion, or whatever that goes on at work, that goes into the employee file. Even if her husband comes into the office and says he wants to see the file, they're not supposed to disclose that information. And so what irritates me is that this was some sort of open job search that should have never happened, and they've created more problems for me. And so I can't, you know, I have to be able to make enough money to live in Los Angeles. I cannot make, you know, less than what I'm making here, and I can't make about the same as what I'm making here, because my ultimate goal is to live by myself. I don't want to live with anybody else for a very long period of time. And so this job, this roommate thing that I'm trying to get together, you know, if I do, I need people to understand. I'm just looking for some, like, basically a place to lay my head, a place to prepare my meals, a place to wash up, and that's it. I don't need to be overstimulated. And I had a conversation with my son today about, you know, being overstimulated, because I have been overstimulated with the events that happened here in Bakersfield. And so therefore I don't want to be in any more contact with people, direct contact with people, for very much, okay, because this should have never happened. So anyway, I'm basically struggling on my own, and I'm going to have to make phone calls to all the employers in California that I need to talk to directly, because, like I said, I don't want this job search to go to waste at all. And so that's my biggest issue. And so there's a lot of, not procrastination, but fear, and I'm consumed with anxiety because of it. This should have never happened, okay? And I can't stress it enough, you know. Just the stupidity and the absolute lack of experience that these people have is just absolutely mind-numbing. And here I am, somebody who's more qualified than people who have a 4-year degree, more knowledgeable, more understanding of these sort of things, and yet I struggle. This should never have happened. So I'm going to wrap up this video. As soon as the sun rises, I'm going to start looking at jobs, and I'm going to be tweaking my resume. I'm going to do the 3 different versions. I have 2 versions now. I will complete another 3rd version, because I'm going to try to do anything that I can qualify for that is truly fitting me. I can't sit here and take less than what I'm doing, especially in the Los Angeles area. It's too expensive. So I'm going to wrap up this video. It's already, though some people consider it morning, but I don't consider it morning until the sun rises. So I'm going to end this video and be back when the sun's up. Have a peaceful evening or good night. Bye-bye.